Well, hello there, and welcome to this edition of the EV Revolution Show. My name is Kenneth Pecor, your host, and today I'm really excited to have, even though it's a gloomy, kind of rainy day today, but I had to get this review out. Really excited to have a 2025 Volkswagen ID.Buzz. This is the first edition. It's called the 4Motion all-wheel drive version of that platform, and something that we've seen, I think, when did they announce this as a concept? Probably 5 or 6 years ago. Now, it's taken a long time to get here to the North American shores, but it's finally here, and I'm finally being able to do a review on it and have some seat time. I want to first, as always, thank the vendor in this case, or the car manufacturer in this case, Volkswagen Canada, for allowing me the use of this press vehicle for a week. It's been an absolute joy, folks. I'm going to start this review off by saying this has just been one of the best EVs I've ever driven, and I know I say that for a few. I've said that for the Silverado in the past and a few others, but this has just been one of the best simply from the joy of driving it. It just exudes this feeling of joy and happiness in these times where things are kind of crazy right now in the global landscape, and getting into this kind of zen, peaceful vehicle, feeling the warmth that it gives. It's really hard, it's tangible, it's really hard to put into tangible words, folks. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a little cold here today, so I'm stumbling through my words. But it's really been that kind of an experience, and I can see what the allure is for this vehicle once you get in and drive it and just experience it. You know, it's not the longest range, it's not the cheapest, it's not, you know, the most quiet or anything like that. And I will talk about the features. It's actually a fantastic vehicle to drive around. It's super comfortable and quiet, but it's just what it gives you and the versatility that is the ID. So I hope you sit back and relax and enjoy this review as I share my comments on the ID.Buzz. Introducing the ID.Buzz, Volkswagen's latest product, and they've done a great job in a modern reimagining of the iconic microbus, as we all remember. And now, of course, it's back in all-electric format, which I love. Now, the original microbus, which was known as the Type 2, it first came to Canada in the 1950s. And during the 60s and the 70s, it was really embraced by people who valued, you got this feeling of freedom and adventure and a spirit of exploration, and of course, a quirky design. And we saw these things all over, not just in Canada, but in the US and all around the world. So over the years, Volkswagen has continued to introduce various iterations of the microbus, things like the Vanagon and Eurovan, but one thing, you know, really kind of has never changed on that. It's kind of got that good vibe feeling and invokes a lot of smiles. And now it's finally come to North America and Canada after literally what seems like years of waiting for it, and they've done a great job. It's been fully reimagined to bring it up to modern era, but it has that same retro-inspired shape. It's got multiple colors, it's got great use of space, and the nostalgia is very much present there. And of course, it's fully electric, and I'll talk more about that. So really, there's no vehicle out there really like the ID.Buzz today. It really is a differentiator in the EV marketplace, and it associates with a type of lifestyle which people love. Now, from a power plant perspective, this is the all-wheel drive, what they call the 4Motion. And as you can see, I've got the front open. There's really nothing in here. There is no frunk. All you have is access for a windshield washer fluid. That's it. There's nothing else to do here. Even the 12 volt is inside the vehicle, actually, folks, underneath the driver's seat. So there's really nothing to do to get over here other than the windshield washer fluid. But this vehicle does have two motors, as I mentioned, producing 335 horsepower and 413 pound-feet of torque. Now that's enough to move this from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 6.4 seconds. It's pretty fast for a family hauler, right? Again, you don't need the speed, folks. These are more than enough to get around in normal traffic, and you really can't go that fast anyway without getting, we've got photo radar all over the place now, so you're getting nabbed everywhere. If you opt for the single motor variant, which is a rear-wheel drive option, that will drop your horsepower down to 282, but you still get the full amount of torque. So all that torque's coming from the rear motor. Now that power is being supplied by a 91 kilowatt hour battery pack, which is more than adequate enough to provide about 377 to 372 kilometers of EPA range, whether it's rear wheel or all-wheel drive being just slightly lower. In the driving that I've seen, where we've had temperatures around the below 0 centigrade or just slightly above, and one day we had about 17, 18 degrees Celsius, I've seen the range go from about 275 to 300, and then up to about 350, 360 in these cooler temps. So I could confidently say in the summertime when the nice temps, you'll get over 400 kilometers of range in this, which is nice because just booting around the city, go home, plug it back into 80%, 90%, whatever they recommend, and off you go the next day. It's got more than enough range for those kind of use cases, and it's really comfortable and quiet. Now from a charging perspective, it has really good AC and DC charging. The charge port is at the passenger side at the back, so you would back in to a charging stall in the cases, and it's nice and easy. You got good cameras, so you have your standard CCS combo port here. There is no NACS support right now, and there will be adapter availability probably come the late spring, early summer. I was talking to Electron the other day, and they say their adapter will be certified for VW probably June, July. So then you'll be able to take this to Tesla supercharging and use their superchargers as well. But it does have your standard stuff here. And for level 1, level 2, up to 11 kilowatts, and for DC fast charging, up to 200 kilowatts. So that's pretty good. And what Volkswagen claims is that from 10 to 80%, for fast charging, if you can find a plus 200 kilowatt hour or more fast charger, it'll take you about 26 minutes to get to 10 to 80%, or about 130 kilometers of range back in 10 minutes is what they say at those speeds. So for road tripping, and there's tons of video folks out there of new owners that are taking these right across the country, mainly in the US. They're putting camping stuff, or they're loading them with mattresses and stuff, and they're going all over the place. So you can definitely road trip in this vehicle. So I wanted to show quickly on the fast charging. I'm here at a slow charger. It's one of their newer ones, goes up to 150, I believe, that they're starting to outfit. So got down to about 12%. And as you can see, she's pulling about 148 kilowatts. So be close to 150 at this session. I did do some preconditioning on the battery to warm it up a little bit for about half an hour, so I think that's pretty good. I'm only going to go to probably about 50 or 60% because I don't have far to go, but good to see that it pulls pretty good. Here we are about 148, 147. All right, so I'm just here finishing the charge. It's at 80%. It's taken, is there a timer on here? 27 minutes to go from about 10% to 80%. So I think it's right on track. I think I might have been at 12%. I'm still pulling 90 kilowatts. That's really good for this. So gotta like that. It's definitely well within the range that it says it is. So good job on VW. So like I said, cargo is of importance to a vehicle like this. So I opened this up. It does have a power release. It also can use foot operated as well, which I haven't tried, but apparently that's there. So the first editions come with this shelf element, which you can take out. Has these two kind of just, folding boxes here for storage. You can take them out, leave them in. This thing actually folds up if you want as well. And then if you put these seats down, you have a floor. That's the level of this shelf, and it's flat all the way to the first row. So I'll put some pictures here of what cargo space is and tell you what the numbers are. But suffice to say that there's tons and tons of room back here. There's a lot of room. When I got the vehicle, the seats are down. I put them up just so because I put some people in here for a little bit, and there's still a good enough of room here with, I could put some stuff in these drawers, the charging cables here, that kind of stuff, to put stuff. You could do a grocery run, small grocery run, that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of good room on here, a lot of convenience factors and stuff. It's just really easy, big low lift over, right? Nice big roof, so if it's raining like on days like today and you're loading and unloading, at least you have a little protection from the water coming in. So everything that they've thought of ergonomically works really well. Again, it's that style of the microbus, just in a more modern, bigger flare, and it works extremely well. Now, obviously, one of the main reasons you buy a vehicle like this is to haul people and stuff around. The first editions have power side doors on both, which also can be unlocked inside with a couple of buttons, or through the key fob, which is nice when you're walking up. You can unlock these. But the main component here is a seating room. Now, this is the 6-seater configuration. There is a 7-seat option as well, which will give you a 3-seat bench, a 60/40 moving bench here, and then the 2 seats in the back. But this is the 6-seat with dual captain's chairs. So you get your 4 captain's chairs and you get your bench in the back. I've brought some people in this vehicle. They've all said it's extremely comfortable, a very nice experience, especially with the suspension, and it's a very quiet vehicle, and the use of materials. These, in the first edition, these seats are heated as well. for the second row, not the third row, but for the second row. So you do get comfort in that. And then you have your own rear heating as well, and rear climate control. Getting in is very easy. You have grab handles everywhere if you need to get in. I'm going to lift up, and as you can see, tons of room here. You have armrests that fold down, get you nice and comfortable. The seat can slide, if I remember correctly. But just from an overall experience in here, this is extremely pleasant. You know, you have pockets in here for your phones at the back of the seat, or something else that you want to put a small tablet. It's just a very comfortable environment. You have the roof as well here, add some light in. You have some storage up front here that you can put stuff in. It's just a really nice, comfortable environment to do that. There is a side window that opens, it slides down, so if you want some air, you can open those up. I don't know why Volkswagen just didn't do a full down and up window. They wanted to do this little thing. It's a retro thing, I guess, back to the older buses, which is nice, and it works extremely well. Getting into the back is really easy as well. So just climbing into the back here, especially with the captain's chairs, might be hard to see me, but you'll hear me. And I am in the back here, and this is the first time I'm getting in the back, by the way, folks. I try to do things live, and this is a really nice experience. These seats recline as well. There is a button back here. It's way in the back somewhere, so I'm going to have to play to find it, but they do recline a bit, so I will do that. They do have cup holders, have USB ports everywhere. There's tons of that kind of stuff around. And stuff for storage and cubbies. Again, your back seats don't have anything here, but there is lots of room. I'm 5'6", 5'7". I've got over a fist of headroom here, and that's with the seats a little forward. I would put them back just a couple of notches, but it's a comfortable experience. You have your air vents here, and two adults can sit here comfortably. I've got loads of leg room. I have double my leg length here from hip to knee going to the back seat. The way these seats are now, and you can see when I sat in, I had a lot of room. So if there's anything I want to get across to you folks for this vehicle, not only that it's funky, it looks great, it just really adds a level of harmony and fun that you don't see in a lot of vehicles today. But from a practicality and versatility side, this has really outshined everything, because it's extremely versatile in what you can do. You can take the 4 seats out if you want a complete flat floor and load it up with stuff and camp or whatever. You could fold them down, all that kind of stuff. But the amount of room you have for normal people, not for just kids, kids of course would be great, is outstanding. So even if you had the 3-row bench, you could fit 7 people here very comfortably for long trip drives. And just to get that sliding seat in, because I didn't do it before, here's the button here, or the bar. So see, they do slide, lots of room. And like I said, even with the seat here where I was sitting, I had this much leg room, actually slightly more. Now, what I wanted to show you before my driving impression is just more of the interior of this vehicle, but that it's just such a good use of space, as you can see behind me. I mean, it's just lots of separation, lots of space, easy for people to get in and out of, as I mentioned. I did want to quickly mention the roof. Now, it's going to be hard to see because it's gray here today, but it's an electrochromatic roof. It doesn't have any partition or anything that slides. It just frosts the glass. Let's see if it'll work for me here. Yeah, so there it's kind of clear, and then there it's frosted. There we go, that's frosted. Maybe hard to see because it's a gray day, but it does cut down the sun glare and all that stuff as well. So it's a nice feature that they put in here for the, especially for the 4Motion, the all-wheel drive version that you get on the first edition. Now, if I switch to the dash, let me show you that, just a quick tour of the dash. There's lots of stuff on here, so I won't spend the time, but let me just show you how functional that is. So if you look at the dash here, we have your typical VW binnacle, right? And it moves with the steering wheel, which is nice. It always keeps you in this space, which is nice to see. I'm going to turn the hazards off here because it keeps beeping at me. So gear shift, all that stuff, everything's really easy just to work, right? You've got your buttons, soft touch buttons here for your lights and stuff, your defog. You've got your mirrors. You press the rear if you want to open the rear windows. Otherwise, it opens the 2 front. Pretty easy. Folding mirrors, heated side mirrors as well. I should probably put that on to get rid of some of this rain that we're getting today. Lots of cubbies and lots of storage pockets, which is nice. You've got USB-C for the driver over here, but here's for the rear hatch button. Lots of cubby down below as well for bigger, taller water bottles and stuff. A little bit of change kind of cubby here. And then here's the other cubby, which is a wireless Qi pad, if I could get in there and show you that to you, with a couple of USB-C ports, so you can charge your phone wirelessly. This is a nice option here in the center console if I can get to it. I have it folded down because I've been putting coffee and carrying my mug all week, but as you can see, it folds up and it has a nice coffee holders and some storage space in there. You have your center storage space, which is really convenient. It can pop off, of course, and you have rear storage here for the rear passengers, and I've got my sign and stuff in here. The use of materials, everything is really nice. Armrests for the seats, which I love, so you can fiddle around with that. USB-C ports for every passenger in the vehicle. They have one, which is a really nice feature. Door buttons, again, a cubby holder. I put a tissue box, a big glove box in here to hold stuff, so a really good size for a glove box. Lots of storage. Up top here, we have our SOS functions when you have the services, our light maps and that kind of stuff. It works really well. Touch sensitive for the lights, of course. You have your standard mirror and your itsy bitsy teeny weeny mirror to see yourself. These do slide, pull out, and they do slide. I wish they would have slid just a little bit more here, but they only go about that far, but at least they do slide and cut most of the sun out. Self-dimming rear view mirror, of course, good visibility, even with those seat rests. Now, normally I'd probably put those seat rests down. I just had them up for the week because I did have some people in it to test the back seats, but normally I would put them down so you wouldn't have that. But I've had no problems in visibility even with those up. Big side mirrors, so all around good visibility. Now, the menu system is really nice. I'm not going to go through this. There's lots of things, but safe to say that it works really well. It's snappy. There's no bugs. I haven't experienced any problems in this. I've been driving predominantly in eco mode, but you can set your different modes, including softening the suspension, tightening the steering a little bit. I've left everything on eco. It's been the perfect mode for me. Lots of car settings that you can do as well. There is a HUD in here. I'll turn that on. Actually, let me go back here and see if I can make sure I turn that on. There we go. So hopefully you can see the HUD here now. If I zoom in a little bit, if I get to the right angle, you can kind of see the HUD. It's blinking, but it's not really blinking in real life. And so that's the HUD. I usually shut them off, so I just turn it off like that. And but it is there for this vehicle as well. And then some quick options here for the vehicle features. So everything works really, really well on here. The Harman Kardon system is really nice, got a good sound to it. Here's a couple of nice buttons in the front here for your opening your side door, opening your right side door, and then turning that function off if you don't want to accidentally have somebody hitting the button or opening those doors, like a child lockout, let's say, as well, for somebody on the side opening up. So a good amount of space. They have this play, pause, pedal system. It's just a gimmick to me. It doesn't really mean anything. You have your accelerator and your brake. The brake works really well, in my opinion. Again, some YouTubers have complained about it. I think they're nonsense. I think it's worth fine. This thing is an easy vehicle to drive. It's just been very phenomenal to drive. Easy, quiet, and comfortable. Absolutely love it. But that's a look at the gauge and the front system and the storage and the versatility and the seating position. Just everything is really, really nice in this vehicle. You'll enjoy it a lot. All right, so just quick driving impressions on this vehicle. Again, I've got some video when I'm on the highway to show the lane and keep and that kind of stuff. But just as a quick summary, the ride on this is extremely comfortable. I was very surprised on how nice the ride is. And I've had 4 or 5 people in this vehicle, and they've all commented on how nice this ride is for the size of this vehicle. It's pretty comfortable. I wouldn't say you're floating like a Cadillac kind of thing, but it's really nice. It handles the bumps well. If it gets a little bit too squirrely, obviously you're going to feel them, but for the majority of bumps that I go through and versus the cars that I have, this handles the best. This has been really, really nice. And I think that's what they want, right? This is a vehicle to move people around in, right? You're going to be taking people around, kids, family, stuff, right? You're going to be camping or going out, being adventurous, whatever. And that's what this is about. Handles really well, turns really well, easy to drive, easy to maneuver, right? I don't have to, it's not like a lumbering around kind of thing. It's certainly not a sports car, but it just handles really well. And the ergonomics are very nice. It's very easy to find a nice seating position. I love having these armrests. The thing I like about minivans is the armrest element. Controls, everything is easy to get. Even the HVAC, even though it's soft touch, works really well as well. And there are some steering wheel controls for some of your ADAS features and things like radio and voice assistance and that kind of stuff. So it's heated steering wheel, all that stuff, heated front seats, and cooling seats as well in the front on this particular model. So visibility is excellent. Even with that big raking windshield, it's really easy to see everything because the corners here are big as well. So you do have to look around kind of the A and B pillars here sometimes when people are crossing the street, but it's not hard to see them. Lots of visibility, good visibility on the sides, and you've got your cameras as well. This does offer a 360 surround view, experience. So that works really well. For my driving, again, I've done over 400 kilometers and my efficiency is at 28.5 kilowatts per 100 kilometers, kilowatt hour per 100. So I was able to get that down to like 18 for a bit when the weather got a little nicer. So I would expect to get this well under 20 in normal everyday driving conditions, especially with B mode, which is the braking mode. It doesn't take you to a full stop, but it almost takes you to a full stop. So there is no true one pedal driving. You do need to use the brakes each and every time to stop if you want to. If you put it in D mode, it's really hardly any regenerative braking at all. So it's either on at like 90% or it's nothing, or extremely low that you hardly feel it. So those are the two options you have for regenerative braking. But otherwise, everything, the controls, the automatic wipers work really well because, you folks know I have a Model Y, and Tesla's automatic wiper system is still a frustration that I hope that they fix soon. But this works really well on the VW for sensing rain and that kind of stuff. So, overall, the driving experience has been excellent. I've taken this on highway driving right across town, like 100 kilometers. I've taken this a lot in the city, and it's just been an extremely comfortable and capable ride to move yourself and move stuff around in. It's just been awesome. No problem parking because there's nice cameras and sensors, of course, for distance and all that kind of stuff. It's just a really easy vehicle. Some people might feel intimidated because of the size of this vehicle, but I wouldn't. I would, again, encourage you to go take one for a test drive, see how it fits you ergonomically, and see how you feel to drive it. It is a bigger vehicle, but it's pretty easy to drive. Don't let that fool you. So again, my hat's off to Volkswagen. They've done a fantastic job in this vehicle. Absolutely fantastic. It's everything that I thought it was going to be, with all the hype around the ID.Buzz, and the driving experience and just the drivability and usability really comes to task, and they brought it to the forefront. So good job, VW. All right, here inside driving the VW ID.Buzz, just to give you a perspective. So I'm just using adaptive cruise right now. It does have a lane keeping and adaptive cruise for its autonomous features, which is pretty basic, I guess, as you could say nowadays. The lane keeping does okay, but it does remind you about every 10 seconds or so that you have to start grabbing the wheel to make sure that you're paying attention. So I just leave it on adaptive cruise rather than lane keeping assist, and it's just easier that way for me. It does have lane keeping and adaptive cruise together, or adaptive cruise, or just plain old cruise control like we used to have, which will just set a speed and just leave it there for you to disengage with, either with the brakes or doing something else. Otherwise, a very comfortable driving experience here. Chairs are comfy, lots of visibility in this humongous windshield, as you can see. That's basically the big feature that you see in here. Big side mirrors. Again, very comfortable. Wind noise is not so bad. I expected actually a lot worse, being that this is basically a brick flying through the air here, but it actually does pretty good. And we have a bit of a windy day today as I'm going into the wind right now. So that's not a bad sign. Again, it's a comfortable cruiser meant to be taking families and stuff around the city and wherever you want to go. And they've done a good job. The refinements in here, the use of materials are nice. The inside is really nice, and I'll get more into that, or hopefully you've seen all that on the video. But just from a driving experience on the highway, it's a very nice driving vehicle, and I would have no problem in taking long trips in this ID.Buzz. So for pricing, what's something like this cost? Well, here in Canada, the MSRP for the first edition rear-wheel drive is about $83,000. This a 4Motion all-wheel drive version with a couple of options with the roof and stuff bumps it up to about the $86,500 price point. So people will say, man, that's a lot of money. Well, it is a lot of money. There's no doubt about that. But for 3-row SUVs and 3-row vans that have a lot of stuff in them, this is competitively priced, in my opinion, because you're going to be saving so much on fuel costs because of the cheap electricity that we have here in Canada, that it's going to make up for some additional pricing. And the functionality that this offers over most minivans that are in the marketplace today, even like something like the Chrysler plug-in hybrid, which I'm a big fan of. But you get into a loaded version of that, you're in the $60,000–$65,000 range. So for about 15 grand more, you can get into something like this, 15 to 20 grand more, and you'll save, probably something in the area of $3,000 to $4,000 a year in fuel costs. So in 3 to 4 years, let's say, you will make that money back. And that's some of the things you have to look at, again, plus the functionality that this gives you and the fun factor and everything that I mentioned. So I think this is very, very competitively priced, but these are the first editions, of course. We may see other models and trims come in which will go lower than that, which is what I expect. Again, anything like from a launch edition or a first edition, they're always going to be priced a little higher. One thing I do want to say is I was strumming through some videos, and I see that good friends down at Monroe & Associates there have actually talked about some of the components in the Buzz, specifically the motors that VW uses and the bearings and some of those types of elements, and they rave about the quality and the workability of those parts. Being able to just very lightly spin the axle on that motor because the bearings are so good, the pack in there and the way they built and designed it is so well done and efficient, that again, you're seeing quality in this. There's no squeaks or rattles. Everything has worked phenomenally well. From an efficiency perspective, I've seen as low as 18, but again, I've only had the temps down to up to about 18 degrees C on one day. So I would expect, and I was exceeding the efficiencies that's actually published. So in the cold weather, yeah, I'm getting about 32, 33 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. So it's going to be higher. But again, this is a big, heavy, vehicle at over 7,000 pounds weight. So of course it's going to take a little bit more power to move it. Throw some people in there and towing, this thing will tow up to 3,500 pounds as well with the right hitch on it. And I believe this has a hidden tow hitch on there. I just didn't climb and look. So overall, from a pricing, I think you get a lot for that. And you need to check out the options list when you're looking at this, because you do get quite a lot. I believe there will be less costly trims that will come out later on, but for the first editions, that's what they're priced at. I think it's tremendous value. Right, folks, so I hope you really enjoyed this review and my look at the 2025 Volkswagen ID.Buzz. This is the 4Motion all-wheel drive first edition trim model of this vehicle for 2025. It's been, hopefully it's come across, I can't say it enough, it's been an absolute joy to drive around for the week, not just in people waving and smiling and that, but just the experience of driving has been great. It's comfortable, super comfortable. Very quiet, in my opinion. Yes, there's a bit of road noise. Yes, there's going to be some wind noise because it's a big vehicle, but nothing that distracts you. You put the volume on the radio a little bit, you don't hear anything. Very nice, quiet, comfortable drive. The controls, the software, everything works really well on this vehicle. Absolutely loved it. The lights at night, lights up the road, easy to find, turn signals, all that stuff just works really, really well. It's been an absolute pleasure and joy to drive. So do I recommend it? Hey, I can't recommend it enough. Now, as I said, just a minute ago on the pricing, it's not going to be the cheapest vehicle out there, but it's something that you want, that you're going to keep for as long as you can, 10 plus years, because it's got a good warranty and these things are built to last. I strongly encourage you to look at this vehicle. It's iconic, it's a head turner, but it has that function and versatility that will allow you to do a lot of things with this vehicle. So there's already a big aftermarket for accessories, from stuff on the roof to inside camping, contents and kitchens and all this kind of stuff that you can outfit this on and on and on. Just absolutely love the looks of this and the drivability, again, the feel, and everything's been really good. I would encourage you to take one for a good test drive, and that will make your determination. The seats are comfortable, everything works well. So, again, my hat's off to Volkswagen Canada. Thank you very much for allowing me the use of this vehicle. If you have any questions or comments, please email me. My email address is here. I'm still, as of today, on X/Twitter. Email's the best way to reach out to me if you have a question or comment. I love to hear from you. Let me know if you have one of these, what your opinion is on these, because I was in Germany just a couple of months ago, and these were all over the place. So they've been in Europe for several months to a year now, and I saw lots of them in the Munich area and driving around southern Germany. So with a lot of smiley faces as well, with people driving them. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and again, thanks very much for taking the time to watch. Everybody stay safe, and keep up the good spirits, and summer's just around the corner, so let's gear up for that. Anyway, everybody take care, and until the next time, I will see you when I see you. Bye-bye.